Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures! We've got a new goodie today. We've got the Corruption Plague for Mantic's Deadzone game. So I always liked the Plague. I never was happy with my painted results, but I like this and I think I can handle this in terms of trying to paint this dude up. And if you see this is totally my kind of model. Too many limbs. Definitely going close combat with this guy. I haven't seen any pictures of the actual figure yet, only the box painting, so I'm curious to see what this is like. I can't recall getting any packaged figures like this from Mantic, so kind of new, but the very traditional bubble wrap, having put together many resin figures of theirs, it's pretty big. Thankfully, the casting detail came through on the sides, and the torso, and the limbs. One of those big metal bats. I guess if you really wanted, you could probably just snip this off right here if you wanted to turn it into like a power maul, or, you know, stun batons, or chain swords, or give them something really fun. So we can get that face in focus there. Sort of, kind of. I mean, overall, the detail level is pretty nice. I don't see any glaring mold lines going right down the middle of the forehead, so that's good. Oh, he does have a sword here. It's going to need to be straightened out, but that's okay. It's pretty straightforward. The only thing is I feel like the arms are a little short. Maybe it's just me. I'm not sure. Is there a base? There is, what, that looks like a 50mm? Just eyeballing it. Nope, I guess 60? Don't have any 60mm bases laying around? I'm not sure. Big base, though. Alright, well, this looks like it's going to be a pretty straightforward build, so give me a moment. Let me get this mess cleaned up here. We'll get it all put together, and let's see if I can dig up some of my old painted Plague models and really give you guys a nostalgic blast from the past. How's that sound? Sounds good to me. Alright, we got our Plague Corruption all put together here. It was pretty simple, after all, so I wasn't expecting it to take too long. I'm still not 100% sold on that sword, and yeah, I tried to straighten it out, and it's still not being as cooperative as I would like. I don't know. Part of me is thinking, like, maybe give it a mallet or just, you know, I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on it. Why does it have a sword so big, you know? That's my question. And let's be honest, this is a big sword. Let me grab some other stuff just to give you guys an idea of the size. I put him on a smaller base. I had him on the 60 that he came with, and I felt it just was a little bit too big. Now, I actually had, as I said, the old Plague Aberration. I can't find my Stage 1 Prime or whatever it was called from the original Deadzone campaign. I did try to paint it, and it came out awful. I'm not a fan of it, and for that reason, you're not going to see the Leapers or the Stage 2 ones either. I'm not a fan of those. Didn't like the sculpts to begin with, even. Let's see here. Something that people would recognize. So, keeping in mind, Mantic's scale isn't exactly the same as GW's, obviously. You can see here, at least with the Marine, he barely goes up to the waist of it. Our Aberration is a lot thicker, just about as tall. Grabbing some actual Mantic Stage 3 Plague. Now, these are the original rustic ones that came with the original Kickstarter, and I just now realized, looking at them, I've got some sprues of the plastic guys. I should totally do a video on those. Now I've got a good excuse. I think this guy came with the artillery piece. I painted these a long time ago. If you really want to see photographic evidence of what I did, I'm sure on Daka there's probably some pictures way, way back of my Plague. Maybe. Grabbing one of the Star Saga Nameless, also of like-minded size. So it's a good looking model in terms of, you know, its pose. I like everything except that sword. It's got a good size to it. It's got a good volume to it. Nowhere near as thick and as heavy as the Aberration. Of course, for me, I wish the Aberration was even larger, a little bit thicker and wider. That's just my own personal take. I think it would have been cool. To the point where it's like, you know, the Mantic robot size. That's what I was thinking. I know the Plague had their own version of the robot walker thing that was in the original Deadzone campaign. I think I even painted one of those myself. I don't know what happened to it. I'll have to go dig around. Maybe I'll ask Sparkle Truck. He probably has his. So, I mean, it's a nice looking figure. I definitely like it. I think there, even if you're not a fan of the weapons, I think there's enough conversion potential to easily swap it out, give it something different. Just the length of the sword to me is questionable. Where in the far-flung future they're building swords that large? If it was like the sword that came with one of those dreadnought robots, that would have made a little bit more sense. Actually, that would have been kind of cool. If it was like a street sign or a like concrete post or something, I think that would have been more appropriate, as he's already got like the wrecked pipe or whatever's in his hand there. I think that would have been a wiser choice. But that's just me. And like I said, I think it's easy enough to replace what's there. Just now realized he's got like piercing rings all the way down the front of his abdomen. Interesting look. So yeah, always nice to see more stuff coming out from Mantic to expand their games. I've always been a fan of the Deadzone stuff. Like, I think it was one of the very first Kickstarters that I ever backed. Both myself and Sparkletron have multiple completed painted warbands, and yet to actually sit down and play it, so it's pretty sad. I'm hoping that one of these days I'm going to get around to painting up some of the terrain that I've got banging around still from both the original and the Infestation campaign, and maybe we can finally properly play it. I don't know which version. I think I've got all of the various editions out there now, so something to think about. If you guys have a particular edition you think is worth playing more than the others, by all means, let me know, and we'll also have a link to Mantic's site where you can actually check out a lot of the rules yourselves for free. They've got a lot of resources free to download, and that's always a nice thing. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.